And it's time once again for weather with Nebraska Extension Ag Climatologist and Market Journal Chief Meteorologist Al Dutcher. Now, we've seen some pretty great weather since Turkey Day. What can we expect as we get into the front end of December?
Well, Bill, hopefully everybody had a nice holiday weekend and we've seen some warm weather across the state. We continue that into the early part of this week. Now, from a perspective of going forward, it does look like we're going to see some slightly cooler temperatures, maybe more seasonal-like as we get a few days that we get some cold frontal action in the region. But overall, this next 7-day period, we're once again going to remain above normal when you figure the highs and lows in. And so this trend that we've been basically in for much of the month of November will continue, although there are some signs that we're going to start to see a little bit more active weather to our west, and perhaps that will start to pull in some of that cooler air that's been locked up into place over Alaska and the northwestern portions of Canada. As those systems move across the country, we should start to see some of that colder air pull in. And I'm not saying that we're going to see these big sub-zero temperatures, but we definitely are going to see a much cooler trend compared to the 60s and 70s we've been seeing recently. So let's go to the upper air models and see what we have in store as we go through this next 7-day period. First thing I'll draw your attention to is we have the main general boundary just lined to the north of Nebraska. That's where most of the energy will focus. As this piece of energy to our west starts to move through, it will start to strengthen, but we do have low pressure setting up over portions of south central Montana. That's going to generate some snowfall across the very extreme northern Rockies and spreading out into the Dakotas. For us, we're going to be south of the front, remaining high and dry, but that front will come through during the overnight hours and bring that colder air into our region and also intensify this trough. So that'll add energy to these low pressure systems that will form at the base of the trough down in southern Texas and also over the Great Lakes. That'll be where the most concentrated precipitation is. Maybe some light flurry activity across the panhandle, but no accumulation expected. Now we get a little break on Monday as we get between these troughs, but another system to the west is going to eject another piece of low pressure out into the northern central Rockies, and we'll start to see snowfall generating and heavy precipitation across the northwestern United States. Now, the piece of that energy ejects rapidly toward the east. The other piece of energy drops down into the southwest, and we see low pressure forming over the Texas Panhandle. So it's very possible that we will finally see a little bit of scattered precipitation in these very extreme dry areas in the southwestern part of Texas. That system kind of weakens as it moves toward the east, and we turn our attention to another system coming to the Pacific Northwest. So that'll keep more of a zonal flow, and we'll see some moderation of temperatures here in the Central Plains. Going to be probably pushing back toward the 50s. As most of the precipitation remains well to our northwest and well to our east. Now, as we get into Thursday, this system starts to dig down. That's going to pull some cold air down along the Pacific coast, and we'll also see the first piece of energy ejecting out of that wave into portions of southwestern Wyoming. So you can see that the GFS model at least has shown a very widespread concentrated area of heavy precipitation, and this low actually dives down basically into Southern California by Friday. Very intense low pressure system. First, another wave ejects out into southeastern Colorado. That should lift moisture up into the central and northern plains, and we might see some accumulating snowfall. Particularly the best area will be south central portions of North Dakota and northern half of South Dakota, where we could see an excess of 6 inches. Heavier snow and rainfall in the southern and southwestern United States. And as we get into next weekend, I would expect to see some of this activity push out into the central plains. Whether it'll be in the form of rain or snow remains to be a question, and it may be lifting either farther to the north, or if it pulls down southward, we'll see better accumulations across Nebraska. As we go into the 8 to 14-day forecast, with that cold air coming in, the GFS models are indicating that cold air, but CPC is pushing warmer conditions as we go into the end of next week or the following Tuesday, and precipitation. More activity in the west, below normal precipitation in the southern and central plains.